Hi, everyone. I am grateful to be here with Kasey Perry-Glass, who is an amazing friend and athlete. I feel like I've watched her when she first graduated from Sac State, which was a while ago, and then ended up like becoming this amazingly powerful athlete with her horses. And then the latest being Dublet, and now she's building, working with a couple of other horses and building her continuing to build her reputation with the horses that she still has in this beautiful state-of-the-art barn. If you have missed the live we did, we walked through the barn, and I mean, I had so many people saying, I'd like to live there. And so let me just introduce to you, I'm Lorri, and I'm here with the Empowered Boss Lady series, and Kasey has been gracious enough to join me on this, and she is an American dressage rider, a 2016 Olympic bronze medalist, current member of the Team USA, and ranks currently in the top 5 internationally. I mean, it goes on. She placed 5th in the 2019 World Cup final with her beautiful horse, powerful horse, Dublet, 7th in the 2017 World Cup finals in Omaha, Nebraska, and earned a team silver medal at the 2018 World Equestrian Games in North Carolina. Currently, she's based in out of Wellington, Florida. She has a couple of barns, and she has a lot of things going on. So I am very excited to talk with and share her story and have her share her bits of wisdom with you. So first of all, thank you for being on with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I know. And so tell us about what you're wearing. That caught my eye at the very first. I was like, what does she have on? I want one. But you have to earn it.
Very bright and red. This is one of the team shirts that we had at World Equestrian Games. Going to these team events is really fun because you kind of get a load of clothes.
Wow.
Especially at the Olympics, you pretty much you don't have any clothes that you have to bring other than, like for us, we had to bring riding pants, but they stock you full of clothes, which is awesome. So yeah.
And they're clothes with memories attached to them.
Yes. Yeah. I have boxes of things that I don't wear that probably didn't fit me or just not my style, but I have boxes, and I make sure to keep them for special occasions.
That's so great. That's so amazing. So back when you were in college and I'm going to Sac State, did you know that when did your dream of becoming a professional dressage athlete, when was that birthed, and how did that get started?
Sure. I went to college thinking I was going to get into the family business, and which is a grocery store here in Northern California. And so I went all through college riding horses and just still having the passion behind competing and competing more on a regional level and national level. And so when I graduated from college, my focus really wasn't on the degree I got. I really didn't find any passion or excitement or love for it. And I didn't want to live my life in a spot of not liking my job. So I started competing a little bit more, hooked up with, connected with a trainer locally who has kind of been on the big elite circuit a little bit. So he was able to kind of funnel that dream and kind of bring it to life. And my parents are the biggest believers and dreamers, and so to have especially my mom on my side and be like, no, we can do this. Like, if we really put our minds to it and we really do, the steps and work hard, we can make these dreams come alive. And I share the same passion with elite performance as my mom. And even though she doesn't ride on this level that I do, she still supports it 100%. And so that's kind of where Team Believe came alive. And we kind of just formed this big team that supported our family and supported the dream of whatever you wanted to do and whatever you wanted to push for. And, you know, my dad was a big part of it too, because he's a psychologist. And so he kind of helped my mind through the whole situation. So yeah, it started after I graduated from college and just refocusing my love for what I wanted to do in life.
I just think that's amazing. And so for those of you who don't know Kasey's background, her family owns the local grocery store, Rayleigh's, Bel Air, and has been part of the Sacramento area, greater Sacramento area for quite a while. Joyce Rayleigh Teal is her grandmother, and she comes from a long lineage of powerful women. Yeah. I would say your mom, me knowing your mom, and also your grandmother. I mean, seriously, both empowered women, and yeah. I think it's in your DNA. You just, but I have to say though, to see you run with your dreams and have faith in that. I mean, I remember talking about Team Believe, which is the name of the whole team, the equestrian team that supports you and you at the helm. Is I remember that people from around your mom and stuff were saying people really don't think that we can do this and to go. So how did you work through those self-doubts? I'm sure you had moments when you woke up in the middle of the night and said, what do I think I'm doing? Like, so tell us about that.
Yeah, it is a constant struggle. I mean, for me to say that it wasn't a struggle would be a lie. And, you know, my family and myself dealt with people who put our dream down and told us that we couldn't do it, that it was unrealistic, it was too ambitious. And I could have believed them, and I could have kind of just succumbed to that. And I really challenged myself just to keep my blinders on. And there were days that weren't quite as easy as others, but that's why you have a team around you, people who do believe in you, people who say, stop listening to them and just, you know, go forward, push forward, persevere through those challenges. And that kind of going through all of that kind of created this drive in me that perseverance is so important in achieving your dreams and your goals. Just not stopping and really having that passion for what you're doing. So I just really put my blinders on and didn't listen to what people had to say and try to keep my surrounding positive. It wasn't always positive, but you know, those are the moments that you lean on, you know, your family and your team around you.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say has been your biggest challenge over the years? Is there one or two? Like what, and how did you move through it?
Sure. I think one really big challenge for me was right before Rio. That whole 6 months leading up to the Olympics was so much pressure and so much excitement at the same time. And I came out onto the elite Grand Prix, which is the highest level you can go in our sport, that environment without having a whole lot of experience. And so to be kind of pushed into the limelight was an adjustment. And then on top of that, you know, having good press and then going out and having a horrible 2 shows right before the Olympics. And so I think it really created a strength in me to have to, again, persevere through those tough times and to lean on my team. And, you know, a lot of relationships struggled in that year. And I got married, a year before the Olympics, less than a year before the Olympics. And it was so hard on my marriage. I was gone for probably about 4 months of my marriage right after, and was just so focused on the task at hand that my marriage came second, and that was really hard on not only myself but my husband. Mm-hmm. So you know, it's I had good people around me that kind of put themselves aside to support me, which is, you know, very selfless of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you're achieving huge dreams, it does take some sacrifice. And fortunately, you and your husband are happy together. I love the pictures everybody should follow you on Instagram. Kasey Perry-Glass. The pictures of her and her husband are so romantic. And you guys are the most handsome, gorgeous couple. And so tell us about that. So now how have you found balance? Tell us more about that with your relationship, because that's a challenge for powerful women.
Yeah, and it's been an adjustment. Going from, and I just retired my top horse Dublet this summer, and going from not focusing solely on that to having to focus on, well, what's next, and how am I going to build my family's life, and really focusing on my marriage. And it is really challenging, and it's one of those things where I've had to put my husband first over a lot of things this summer. And now I've had to almost reprogram myself in, this is what matters, my husband and my family, and putting my work second. And which has been really hard because it's been my base for the last 10 years. So I'm trying to still work through the balance of that and work through building my dreams of my business, and also making sure that my growth with my husband is still going. And luckily I'm very ambitious. So
you have the energy. I know, and I think that's such a great point, because I'm telling you, my having had my children with my husband, building a business with my husband, and having my husband by my side, and now being on the other side, that having all my kids out on their own, it's a constant juggling act. You never ever, you have a sweet month or two, and then you're going, oh my gosh, you're on one side or on the other side. So I think that a lot of the women in this series are going to relate to what you're saying, because it's just, you're always juggling.
Yeah. And I feel like having those hard conversations with my husband has been my goal in my marriage this summer. And really, because I hate confrontation. I'm just the kind of person that will try to take a situation and make it a soft conversation to get my point across. And I felt like with my husband, I really needed to express my feelings, and he had to be able to express his, and to feel that uncomfort for a minute. And I mean, that comes with business too, and so yeah, it's been an adjustment this summer, but
I'm just amazed with your grace and intelligence and beauty, and so you've accomplished so much for such a young person. So what are your next goals? What do you have in line? I know part of it is your relationship and your family, and what else do you have on your? I know you're a red, which is like a type A. I am too. I recognize one, not just because you're wearing red, but because you're a goal getter,
Yeah.
So tell us, what do you have next on your list?
Yeah, I next on my list is to get back to Florida and start really, working towards getting on another team. I love the elite program. I love being competing internationally, going to Europe. So I want to keep doing that with one or two horses. But I also want to start to build a business on the outside of that, of training horses, taking in clients, having, a place where I can have a pipeline of horses come up. So being able to have young babies at the farm and kind of bring them up that way, and combine my husband's business with myself, which is really hard because we have very different, ways of doing things. But for our sport, what he does is amazing. So, I come out with very big dreams, and then I kind of have to break it down into steps, and break it down into building blocks, and so I don't overwhelm myself, because I get to these big imaginative things that I can do, and then I'm like, oh my God, where do I start?
The overwhelm is where it's where do we start? How do we get started? So how do you break it down? How do you first, you said, tell me more about that, because I think that a lot of the people who are watching this are people who are going to want to be getting started with something new, and they're just, the self-doubt and how do I get started and can I do it? So how do you do this? What's
Yeah,
your process?
I find it really really beneficial for me to lay out exactly what I want the end product to be, exactly what my goal is, and then I start to kind of work backwards from that, and kind of see what the process is that I have to do, and I have to make sure that I don't stop. The moment that you stop taking a step forward is the moment that you're going to stop and not try to achieve that. So even if you feel like you hit a roadblock, well, you need to figure out what the next move is going to be after that, how to problem solve, how to, figure out a different approach to it. And just always taking one step forward. And I think that the more you take one step forward, the more clear the next door that needs to be open is going to be. And if it's a very difficult thing to achieve, I feel like there's got to be another option to make it easier. And so I think for me, especially with the way that I'm going through this new chapter in my, changing my lifestyle, I have always just taken one step forward. And I know my mom and I are kind of going through a little bit of an adjustment right now, and I'm looking to relocate or just change the dynamics of kind of the team that we've had for the last 8 years, I guess, 10 years, you can say. And there are moments that I've wanted to like throw my hands up and be like, okay, well, I guess I can't really do anything, and kind of just stop. And I think the one thing that has helped me was the patience in it and taking a step forward. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, even if it's a baby step, just movement forward is movement forward. And I always remember one of the things that one of my mentors told me was every master was once a disaster, and everybody was doing the first thing the first time at some time or another. And we all understand that you're not always going to know all the answers. And so who do you go to talk things out? Do you have somebody specifically, or do you, for me, a lot of times I go to the man upstairs or my husband. My daughter, believe it or not, Bailey, my younger daughter. So those are the 3 of my go-tos to just talk it out. Where do you go?
Yeah, I usually go first to my husband. He is a huge dreamer, which is great. But I'm the kind of the person that's like, okay, let's take a step back and let's figure out how to do this. And let's start small. And I usually talk through things with him, especially when it comes to my emotions, and feeling like it's a bit overwhelming, or I'm having anxiety about change or things like that. He calms me down. He centers me, which is amazing, because I'm more the business side of things for him. And he has a great business that I help support him. And then with other things, I usually go to Megan, who is my pride and joy. I love her. She works at the barn with me, and we hired her last year to help with the horses and it's called a groom job, where she tacks the horses up and does a lot of the labor work around the barn. But she also has an MBA, so she's very smart. And I usually try to talk through the business side with her, because she has a lot of questions, and, she gives me outside advice on, maybe you should look at this, or maybe you can do it that way. So having those people bounce ideas off of each other it really helps the situation. And then my mom, she's always the one that is like a little bit towards the pessimistic side, which is, she's positive. She really wants like the best for you, but she will challenge everything just to make sure you don't go with any stone unturned. And I think that's very important. You have a positive side, and you also have that person that's behind you going, well, that couldn't, that might not work, or things like that.
Sounds like you have a good trio.
Yes.
You know, yeah, you have a great mix of different personalities, all with different talents and gifts to kind of show you all perspectives. So from here, we're going to, so you take the horses in the winter time and you go to Florida, where you have a barn in Florida, and then typically you bring them back to California, but you have another thing that you're developing, which you're super excited about, which is what you're talking about, which is so exciting. And I love that you're just a big dreamer and also super practical. You know, you have a great blend. So, so who is your next, I know we talked about it on the live, but everybody on here might not know, who's your next upcoming horse that you are working with to?
There's a fly in my house.
I see that.
Welcome to a barn. My next horse is Mystico. And he's a little bit older for his age, but he has just taken a little bit time to develop. He's a little bit older for the sport, I should say. So I lost a little bit of time with him. But he is should be coming out the Grand Prix, which is again the highest level, within the next year or two. So we should be able to do a couple, we'll see, World Cups or things like that with him. And then we have Utopia, who is a female horse, what they call a mare, and she got her a couple years ago. And she's been another project, another horse that has taken a lot of patience and a lot of just brainstorming to kind of figure out how her and I can mesh. And so both of these horses have been very challenging, but also very rewarding. And that's what I love about our sport, is that it teaches you so much patience, and you're not dealing with just yourself. You're dealing with an animal, and you're not going to force that animal to do something they don't want to do. And so to be able to work with these horses and train them and teach them how to do these movements, and when they start to do them, it's like, oh my God, you know, like you have this confidence about you once you figure it out. And so they humble you. They take a lot of patience, and they also build your confidence. So it's a very fascinating sport.
Yeah, and I've seen your relationship with Dublet. Oh my gosh, he's just a magnificent athlete. Yeah. You know, and people, I didn't really realize that until I talked to you, that actually your horse is actually another athlete that you're working with. So you have to have this symbiotic relationship with them where you move together. And it's just a beautiful sport. Anybody who, again, you go on to Kasey Perry's Instagram, you can see them dancing together. It's like you're dancing. It's just a beautiful sport.
Yeah, it's very different than a lot of the other disciplines in equestrian. You know, a lot of the other type of things like reining or jumping or 3-day eventing, like all of those are composed of these elements that take tremendous amount of athleticism from these horses. But what I love about dressage is that it also takes partnership, and it also takes, not that the other ones don't, but you have to become one with your horse. You know, you have to show that partnership with the judges, and that's how I hold this sport. I want my horses to love what they do, and find confidence in that. So yeah, it's a beautiful sport.
And so I'm going to do a fun thing now, a few rapid fire questions, and it's super fun ones. So what's your favorite binge food?
Oreos lately.
Oreos.
Sorry.
That's okay. I saw it was in the barn the other day, so I know. Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Christmas. Favorite thing to do when you have a few hours off?
Sleep.
Great. Awesome. Your favorite movie: comedy, mystery, romantic comedy, or a sci-fi?
Sci-fi. I really love I really love Criminal Minds. I know that's not a movie,
Me
but I
too.
love that show.
I fall asleep to Criminal Minds.
I do too. I know my husband thinks I'm crazy. He's like, how can you put this in your mind before you go to bed?
I love it. I love the characters. That's so funny. Are you, do you read books or do you listen to podcasts or both?
If I do anything, I'll listen to like an audiobook, and usually it'll be around like a self-help book.
Okay, that was going to ask you what kind of book do you like the best?
Yeah.
Tattoo or no tattoo?
Tattoo.
And do you have one?
I have 4, I think. I have on my side, it says, I've got nothing to do today but smile. And then, of course, my mom comes up to me and goes, you have a lot to do today. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not what it means. I have a cross on my hand. I have another little symbol. I don't really know what it means. I think it was the angelic symbol of friendship I got with a friend. And then I have believe and the Olympic rings.
Wow, amazing. I know the answer to this question, but I might be surprised. Cat or dog person?
Dog.
Mountains or ocean?
Mountains.
Favorite person or thing to bring with you on a desert island?
Person would be my husband.
Ah, that's so great. Favorite place to vacation?
Sun Valley, Idaho.
Wow, I didn't expect that. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
Learn to not stress.
Ah,
I don't know why. I get very anxious and I overthink a lot of things, and so I think if I started at a younger age of kind of learning to manage that stuff, maybe I would be better at it, but yeah.
That's great. I think all of us need to hear that. So I want to give you a few minutes to tell us about something that you would like to talk to our friends who are watching this video. Tell us what you would like to share with them.
Sure. I know a lot of you might not know what our sport is. So it would be really fun if you guys could do a little bit of research on it, and you can just either Google myself or look at my website, kpgdressage.com, and you'll get to know me a little bit more about our team and our sport. You can also find us on YouTube. You just put my name in and you'll find some videos of Dublet and myself. And if you start following us on Instagram, you'll see a lot of the behind the scenes of what I do on a daily basis, a little bit more personal stuff with the horses, which is a lot of fun. And then if you go to kpg.com, you can shoot us an email or follow me on Instagram. And just mention that you saw the Zoom interview with Lorri Code and the Empowered Boss Lady series. And we will give you, we'll enter you to win a free lesson, whether it's Zoom or this is if you have a horse or not, or we have McCoy at our barn that we could give one lesson on also. But that does just mention that you watch this and we will enter you to win.
Wow, that's amazing. I've never ridden on McCoy.
Oh, you should come over.
I'm going to enter. Oh my gosh.
My mom's going to kill me for that, but that's okay.
I'll say she offered it live and they have it on tape. And so you have been a pure slice of heaven and just sunshine on this Zoom interview. I'm so grateful that you're part of the Empowered Boss Lady series and just such an incredible human being.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be a part of this, and it feels so comfortable because you're like a mom to me. So it's been great. I really appreciate it, Lorri.
You're so welcome. Well, we will see you again at the barn, I'm sure. Hang on one second, and I will see you all soon. If you're going to be, Kasey shared with everybody how to reach her. Please write that down, and there'll also be a link on this at the bottom of this interview so that you can easily reach her. So thank you so much for watching, and we will talk to you soon.